We talk about this all the time. Your frontline leaders want to feel like they matter. They want to feel like they're there not just to fill a space and to pass your orders on to their teams, but to think, to use their minds. And it's there's a great quote from Eisenhower, and I don't remember the exact wording, but this is close. I'll paraphrase Ike, where he said, "Don't tell your people how to do things. Tell them what needs to happen, and let them figure it out for themselves, and you will be amazed at what they
dazzle you with their imagination."
And that's distributed decision making, and that goes back to what I was talking about at Little Round Top. Chamberlain made the decision to do that for himself, but if his general had been more forward thinking, I mean, this was the mid 1800s. We hadn't really got to Auftrags tactic or mission command quite yet. I think the Prussians started it in 1870, actually, in the Franco-Prussian War. But if he had a modern, progressive general, his general wouldn't have told him, "You stay in this position on top of this hill, no matter what." He would have told him, "Don't let the Confederates turn the line. Do whatever you have to do to make sure that they don't turn the line."
What to do, that's what he did. It needs to be done. Yeah.
And because this concept of distributed decision making didn't exist back in the 1860s, Chamberlain had to come up with it for himself, and he had to sit there. And that's literally what he did: is say, "Right, I know that I was told to stay right here and not to move, but if I stay right here, there's no way I can stop this last charge. And then there's nothing behind me. And if they get through here, then they're just gonna the war is gonna be over." And so how do I do what I was supposed to do, which is to not let that happen? And that's where he came up with the idea that, you know what, there's one thing I can do, and that's to disrupt my enemy's decision making. They think they're going to come up this hill. They think I'm low on ammunition. They think that all they have to do is throw themselves one more time at this and they'll get through. Well, they're going to get a surprise, because when they get about halfway up this hill this time, we're going to meet them coming down, and we're going to have gravity on our side.
We're ready with the force. And that goes back to commander's intent. Does it give the intent, and call it leadership intent, call it management intent, whatever you want to call it, but give intent. Let people know what you intend to do and to happen, why they need to do that, give them purpose and the emotion and the engagement to do it, and then let them get on with it. Just sit back and let them get on with it. If they need a bit of a kicksteer and a rudder, help. But don't tell people how to. It's so demotivating, especially when they probably know. I used to see this with engineers all the time. The chief, here's what we need to do, and here's how I want it doing. And you could see the super smart young guy who just arrived, and he'd be going, "Oh God, what have I come into?" And no one else says anything, and then they build the product, and it doesn't work. Then the debrief, it all comes out, "Oh, if only we'd done this." Well, why didn't you say so? Well, that's not what you asked. You told me how to build it. I did exactly as I was told. So we've got to move away from this, conformity mindset to challenge, to think, to do the right thing, even if it's not what you were told to do. It's still achieving the mission, which is ultimately the intent that we're trying to get, conveyed.
And think about this as a senior leader. If you're a senior leader, that should be your job. You have two jobs. I see it. You have setting the targets, setting the goals for your organization, explaining why those goals matter, inspiring people to achieve those goals. That's job one. And then job number two is getting your team members the resources and the help and the support they need to achieve
the environment, the resources within it. Sit back and watch.
Right. We've talked about this a lot. My mentor, Alan Mullally, this is how he ran every meeting. Was not, "Joe, here's how I want you to do this." It was all, "Joe, how are we doing on meeting that target that you've been assigned? You need help doing this? What resource, what do you need? What can we get you to help you do that? You need more help from engineering? Great. Head of engineering, can you help Joe with this so that he can do this? Great. Excellent." That's the job of the leader, is marshaling those resources. It's not sitting there standing next to Joe and saying, "Joe, just here's how I want you to do this."
How powerful is that? How much does that set the tone? So I walk in, I'm the big CEO. Right, everybody, here's what we need to achieve. Here's my intent. Here's why we need to do it. Now, how are we going to do that? And what is it you need from me? And straight away, everyone is like, wow, they want my opinion. They're going to provide me the support I need. They're going to listen to my requirements rather than, here's what we need to do. Here's how you're going to go and do it all. Let me know when it's done. And you retire to the boardroom or the golf course. And then the motivation follows you out of the room for the execution of that plan. And I think that's where we're seeing the differentiator today in society, in the organizations that are not just surviving. You need to thrive. You've got to be adaptive and thrive today. Just surviving doesn't cut it because you will ultimately perish. And those organizations that are cascading that ability down to their people, Costco style, are the ones that are thriving indeed.